You're good.
Welcome back to another episode of the Rational Football League Show. My name is Emmett. I am here with my co-host, Brendan Ford.
What's up, y'all?
We are the Rational Podcast for Rational fans. You guys can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Don't be afraid to come check us out. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you'd like to see on the show. We have some interesting segments, guys, we're going to be getting into today. Starting off, we have a Rome Odunze draft profile we're going to do. We're also going to be looking at what the Chargers should do with the 5th overall pick and should they trade Justin Herbert. We're also going to make a determination if Will Levis has done enough to be the Tennessee Titans starting quarterback going forward. We're going to start this off with our Rome Odunze segment. We'll see you guys there. Let's kick things off by introducing Rome Odunze. At 6'3" and 216 pounds, Odunze possesses the physical tools of an NFL playmaker. But it's his smooth route running and exceptional ball tracking ability that truly set him apart from the other receivers. One of Rome Odunze's greatest strengths is his smooth route running. He glides effortlessly in and out of breaks, creating separation and making it difficult for defenders to get their hands on him when he has space. His ability to sell routes with precision and deception is a testament to his football IQ and attention to detail. In addition to his route running, Odunze has excellent ball tracking ability. He has a knack for locating the ball in the air and adjusting his body at the last second to generate separation from defenders. This skill, as well as his strong hands, allow him to consistently come down with contested catches. His unique ability works so well to create separation because typically a defender will read the receiver's eyes and hands and try to time when the ball is arriving to break up the pass. By waiting till the last possible second to adjust to the ball, Odunze leaves defenders no time to try to make a play. Also, when the ball is in his hands, Odunze showcases impressive open field vision and elusiveness as a runner. He has a knack for finding running lanes and making defenders miss in space, turning short catches into big gains.
Now, with all these strengths in mind, it's easy to see why Rome Odunze is considered a top prospect in this year's draft class. However, like any player, he is not perfect. As we hinted at before, there's one area where Rome faces a massive challenge on the field. Despite his impressive skill set, there's one aspect of Rome's game that kind of poses a concern. That is, he struggles when defenders can get their hands on him early in the route. This weakness may come as a surprise given that we just said that, in the strength section, that he makes it difficult for defenders to get their hands on him. But if you'll notice, we said the part when he has space. In several cases, we've seen Rome getting jammed at the line of scrimmage, disrupting the timing of his routes, and basically take him out of the play. We saw this play out several times against Arizona and against Oregon. Once a defender is able to get hands on Rome, he rarely can work himself free. So while he excels at creating separation with his route running, he can struggle against physical press coverage, which NFL corners could look to expose. But here's how to turn a weakness into a strength. Many times throughout the film, teams would often run a soft zone or soft man against Rome to limit him as a downfield threat. This allowed Rome to run shorter routes and use the space given and his ability as a runner to still pick up good yardage. If teams try to attack him by playing press man coverage, the natural adjustment would be to put him in short motions or put him in a bunch formation to create natural separation from the defense so that he will not get any hands on it. Once that defender misses with his hands, the corner will be in a bad spot and Rome can do what he does best and attack downfield. All in all, it comes down to this. It's more like a pick your poison with Rome. Would you rather watch him catch 15 balls a game and pick up about 8 to 10 yards each catch? Or would you rather risk your corner getting burnt if he can't get a clean jam on him? Either way, defensive coordinators are going to have a tough time stopping them, and they're probably going to lose a lot of sleep because Rome can do pretty much everything out there on the field. And that wraps up our profile on Rome Odunze. How do you think he stacks up against Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Nabers? Let us know in the comments below. And to be sure, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we are the RFL Show.
Welcome back, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that Rome Odunze segment. We think he's a very talented receiver. He's a really kind of a pick your poison kind of a guy. With that, we're going to be turning our attention over to the Will Levis segment. Has he done enough to ensure the Titans that he's the future quarterback of their franchise? We'll see you guys in the segment. From jaw-dropping throws to rookie mistakes, Will Levis has provided plenty of intrigue in his 9 starts as the Titans signal caller. In this segment, we're going to take a look at his performance so far and determine whether he should be the long-term answer for Tennessee, or at least given a shot to be the answer for 2024. First off, let's examine what Will Levis has done well so far. We need to see if there's even a reason to consider him being the starter next season. And at first glance, the physical potential pops off the screen. Seriously guys, there are some special throws on this tape. Since taking over the reins from Ryan Tannehill in Week 8, he demonstrated excellent arm strength, mobility, and poise in the pocket. When he has a clean pocket, he has been more than willing to push the ball down the field, with an average depth of target of just over 10 yards. That led the league by quarterbacks with at least 60 dropbacks, ahead of names like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. He also came out in the first game slinging it. He had 3 30-plus yard touchdowns against Atlanta. My favorite was this one.
Levis towards the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown!
That throw from outside the hash to outside the other hash with 2 defenders bearing down on him is beautiful. He also displayed an ability to extend plays and make throws on the run, an ability he had to rely on heavily because of the Titans' poor line play. He was under pressure on 44.5% of all of his dropbacks, the 3rd highest rate in the league last year. To add insult to injury, his receivers also had the highest drop percentage in the league when he was under pressure. They dropped 15% of the balls thrown at them. Whether the Titans choose to go with Levis again or not, you cannot put another quarterback in that kind of a situation and expect them to succeed. The Titans must agree because they already added Calvin Ridley, Lloyd Cushenberry, and Tony Pollard all in free agency. Now that we've examined Will Levis' strengths and what makes him a promising prospect for the Titans, let's shift our focus to the flip side of the coin, his weaknesses. Let's delve into the numbers and uncover exactly what ways he is a liability to this offense.
The numbers never lie, right? Let's dig into the stats and metrics to get a clearer picture of Will Levis' impact. Despite facing tough defenses and the pressure of a starting role, he managed to put up respectable numbers with a completion percentage of 60.7, 224 passing yards per game, and a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio from weeks 8 through 15 of last season. Now, these stats may look like a solid performance, but are they enough to cement his status as the Titans quarterback of the future? Although Levis accrued stats that work in his favor, he, unfortunately, accrued some that may make someone doubt that Levis showed enough to be the Titans quarterback of the future. For instance, let's look at how Will Levis performed while under pressure. According to PFF, Levis posted a passing grade of 36.1 while under pressure, which is the 34th best out of all eligible quarterbacks. The low passing grade makes sense when you look at his pressure to sack rate, which is the 11th highest at 21.5%, and his turnover worthy play percentage is also the 11th highest at 5%. All in all, Will Levis struggled a fair amount while under pressure, and he accrued a passing rate of 59.1 while under pressure. One final thing to note is that Will Levis also struggled with keeping the ball out of harm's way while he even operated from a clean pocket. He posted the 3rd highest turnover-worthy play percentage out of all eligible quarterbacks with a 4.1%.
So after looking at his strengths and weaknesses, I think it's safe to say the Titans shouldn't be sold on Levis just yet. While his highs have been special, his lows have been frustrating. So that begs the obvious question. If not Levis, then who should the Titans get? Honestly, this is where the situation for the Titans gets rough. According to draft rumors and speculation, there is a chance that 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks for the first time in NFL draft history. The only other time that anything like this has come close to happening was the 2018 draft, where 4 quarterbacks went in the first 10 picks. For those who forgot, the quarterbacks drafted were Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, and Josh Allen. Considering only one of those quarterbacks is still playing for the team that drafted them, I wouldn't call those great odds exactly. So what does this mean for the Titans? Well, they could still try to take a quarterback at 7, with the options realistically being Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. But then with a top 10 pick, you're getting the 5th best quarterback in the draft and maybe a player who likely shouldn't even be a first round pick. So to answer our question at the start of this video, no. Will Levis has not shown enough to be the next long-term answer at quarterback. He doesn't get through reads quickly, tends to put the ball in danger with a clean pocket, and has a bottom 10 passer rating when pressured. But Levis has shown enough for the Titans to pass on the terrible idea of taking Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. in the top 10. Levis has special arm talent and solid mobility. Putting better talent around him should help him improve in some of the areas he struggled with last season. If he struggles again, the Titans would have a better chance of drafting a top quarterback next year. But tell us what you think. Should Will Levis be the next franchise quarterback for the Titans? Check out some of the videos we have on the channel, and until next time, we are the RFL Show. Welcome back, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that Will Levis segment. I'm not too sure he's the quarterback of the future, but he should at least be the quarterback of 2024. With that, we're going to start turning our attention to our final segment of the day. What should the Chargers do with the 5th overall pick, and should they trade Justin Herbert? We'll see you guys in that segment. Before we dive in, let's take a quick look at what moves the Chargers have already made and what holes they still need to fill. We are only going to be hitting on the highlights and not mentioning every single transaction. But if there's an important one you feel that we missed, feel free to let us know down in the comment section. The Chargers kicked off their offseason by firing Brandon Staley and long-term GM Tom Telesco. To replace them, they landed the biggest coaching fish in Jim Harbaugh and hired Joe Hortz. Joe was with Baltimore for 26 years and helped build that franchise from the ground up. In other words, he is not just a pretty face while Jim is actually running the show. Next, the Chargers had some tough decisions to make to get into cap compliance. They ended up restructuring Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, keeping them around. Unfortunately, they weren't as lucky with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Allen couldn't come to an agreement over a new contract, so he was shipped to the Bears for a 4th round pick. And Mike was just released and eventually joined the Jets on a 1-year deal. The Chargers also lost Will Clapp, Austin Eckler, Michael Davis, Kenneth Murray, Eric Kendricks, and Gerald Everett. It wasn't only losses though. The Chargers did bring in some underrated signings like linebacker Denzel Perryman, center Bradley Bozeman, D-tackle Poona Ford, and tight ends Hayden Hurst and Will Disley.
All right, folks, with that out of the way, let's get down to business. The 5th overall pick is a golden opportunity for the Chargers to add a game changer to their depleted roster. But the question is, which direction should they go? Let's look at the options for the 5th pick. They could draft a blue chip prospect, which would most likely be the best non-quarterback prospect if the first 4 picks are all quarterbacks, or they could trade back from the 5th pick to acquire more assets. So now let's go ahead and flesh these options out to decide what the Chargers should do with the 5th pick. So option 1, drafting a top prospect. Let's break down some of the top players available at the 5th spot and how the Chargers could draft one of these guys to fill key gaps on the roster. The Chargers have needs all over the board. Of course, they need some weapons now with the loss of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. But they also need to address interior O-line, corner, linebacker, and tight end. Taking a guard or linebacker 5th overall is way too high, especially for this deep draft class. That leaves us with corner, tight end, and wide receiver. Now, I do want to put a disclaimer here quickly. Normally, 5 would be way too high for a tight end, but Brock Bowers is basically a big receiver, so in this rare case, it wouldn't be beyond terrible to take him here. So let's look at the top players at each spot. Just so everyone is on the same page, we're using Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 prospect rankings to determine the top players. At corner, we have former Alabama Crimson Tide Terrion Arnold. Arnold is capable of playing both inside and outside, and according to Jeremiah, he quotes, "I struggled to find much to criticize in Arnold's play. He has all the tools and traits to be Pro Bowl caliber cornerback. It's hard to find a better compliment than that when it comes to draft prospects." At tight end, we have the before-mentioned Brock Bowers. Bowers has hands like a receiver and is nearly impossible to take down once he hits the open field. He has long been considered a generational tight end even before he declared for this draft. Bowers is also a capable blocker and shouldn't be a liability in the run game. At receiver, you could go either way here. Marvin Harrison Jr. is seen as a generational prospect, and Malik Nabers isn't far behind him. Actually, Malik Nabers' stock has been rising over the past 3 weeks, and Malik Nabers is now seen as 1B to Marvin Harrison Jr. 1A in the wide receiver rankings. We did draft profiles on both of them, so if you want to see more extensive breakdowns, then the video links will be in the description box down below. Option 2, trading down. As we mentioned in option 1, the Chargers have multiple starting roles they still need to fill with this draft class. Not to mention the backup spots they need in order to protect from the good old-fashioned injury bug that plagues them almost every single season. Trading the pick could give the Chargers more flexibility to address multiple needs. But do they need to? The Chargers already have 9 picks in this draft. That is plenty of ammo to attack the holes they have, as well as bring in high upside guys later in this draft. The other drawback of this option is that the draft basically starts at pick 5, so you would miss out on a blue chip prospect. There are plenty of rumors and speculation that this draft could start with 4 quarterbacks being taken. That would leave the top non-quarterback player right there for the Chargers to take. We aren't the only ones who think this either. According to Jim Harbaugh, there's talk of 4 quarterbacks going in the first 4 picks. Boy, if that happens, that pick really becomes like the number 1 pick in this draft. Trading back wouldn't make sense for the Chargers. Their biggest needs align perfectly with the top of this draft. They should stay and make a pick.
Now here's where things get weird. What if I told you there's a wild card in the mix? What if I suggested the Chargers trade away their star quarterback, Justin Herbert? It may sound crazy, but just stick with me here just for a minute, okay? Trading Herbert could open up a world of possibilities, including the chance to draft Jim Harbaugh's favorite quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. Harbaugh has been on record saying that McCarthy is the best quarterback in this draft and could go first overall. In some ways, Harbaugh isn't necessarily wrong either. Quarterbacks are often judged by the third down numbers, or as it's usually called, the money down. McCarthy had the best numbers out of any quarterback in this draft on 3rd and 7+. He converted over 55% of these kind of third downs and had an NFL passer rating of 149. And if you're thinking, well, he probably had the fewest attempts, you would be wrong. He had the 3rd most behind only Penix and May. So when teams knew he was going to throw on 3rd and long, he was still able to convert. Also, when comparing just McCarthy's 3rd down passer rating on 3rd and 7+ to Herbert's passer rating on all 3rd downs over the last 3 years, McCarthy actually had a higher number. Harbaugh wanted to take McCarthy, he could trade Herbert to New England for the 3rd pick plus a haul. They could use pick 3 to take McCarthy and then the 5th on any player they want. So if Harbaugh had been given full control over this team, what's to stop him from pairing back up with his college quarterback on the cheap? First would probably be sanity. Sanity would definitely stop him from doing that. The second would probably be the $89 million dead cap hit the Chargers would get for trading Justin Herbert. I don't care how much you love a quarterback, it is not worth getting rid of a top 10 quarterback and taking on almost $90 million just to get him.
So what should the Chargers do with the 5th overall pick? Should they draft a top prospect, trade back, or break the NFL by trading Justin Herbert? The choice seems obvious. The Chargers should stay at 5 and draft a blue chip player. To us, it would make the most sense to take Malik Nabers. Nabers is a special player when you get the ball in his hands with space. That would pair well with the Chargers' play action heavy offense. He is also great on deeper routes, which will allow Herbert to use his really big arm.
Welcome back, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that segment. Obviously, trading Justin Herbert wouldn't make the most sense for the Chargers. They should definitely stick at that pick and take Malik Nabers or another blue chip prospect they feel would be great. I know we did see a comment about Jim Harbaugh mentioning the points of O-line, so maybe Joe Alt is an option there too. But that does conclude our segments for the day. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed the show. We enjoyed having it with you. Again, you guys can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Until next time, I'm Emmett. This is my co-host B, and we are the RFL Show.